How's it going, everyone? It's me from your favorite birdwatching show. Today we're gonna take a look at Bracky's Game Jam. Yes, the top-rated games, my personal favorites, and some of the games that you made right here in our little community. This year's theme is Stronger Together. I think it's gonna be fun. Grab some coffee, milk, or algorithm juice, whatever your favorite beverage is. And remember, if you made any of the games mentioned in this video, don't take my criticism too seriously. I kind of have to give my opinion on the games, otherwise there's no point to me making this video. Let's have some fun, let's not be too serious, and let's do this. On the 10th place, we have Companion. You wake up in a strange lab where a little droid follows you around. Your mission is to escape the lab. With the help of the robot, you can find clues, which basically lead you out. Personally, I find that this was maybe slightly too short of an experience, but there's definitely potential. Once you figure out what to do, it's pretty straightforward, but I'm gonna have to give this an A+ for the graphics. Super impressive for such a short game jam. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Next is Hex Isles. This one is super interesting. It's a puzzle game and right up my alley. You guys know I like puzzle games by now. You have this orange stone block which you can move around on these hexagons. I think they're hexagons. If there aren't, then make fun of me in the comments, please. You can move this little orange block around and your goal is to get to the flag. The twist here is that the stone blocks need to always stay close to each other, otherwise they turn into stone, which is supposedly how these islands formed in the first place. I really like this. I really love when there's a bit of a backstory to a game, even if it's simple like this. This is definitely one of my favorites. Next on the list, we've got Conductor. Your goal is to follow these red circles that appear on the screen. The visuals are really cool. I don't feel like it played well with the theme, Stronger Together. I don't really see how that ties in with this. And also the gameplay for me was a little simple. You just basically click on the circles. That's just my opinion. The visuals and the audio, however, is great in this game. So, and yeah, judging by the score, yeah, exactly. Audio and innovation and graphics. Yeah, I agree with that. But still, the audio and the visuals were strong enough to take home the 8th place, which is pretty impressive. As a number 7, we've got Death Blind by Code Drifters. It's a zombie apocalypse. You are 2 guys and you're supposed to survive. And this might look like your standard survival shooter, but what makes this one interesting is that the characters always face away from each other, basically covering each other's back. And they each have different weapons, so you kind of have to rotate your characters to use the weapon that you want to be using in a certain situation. The visuals are really impressive. I love the pixel art. For me, it was just too hard to control the guys, like with both your hands like that, and then the fact that they rotate around each other. I just like, my brain just... I'm probably just too stupid, but I really like the concept. I love the idea that they have each other's back. On 6th place, we've got the Bendy Strawman Beach Volleyball. This is probably the only game where I forgot I was reviewing games and I ended up just playing the game, feeling that addiction creeping in. It's pretty simple, but you basically, it's like volleyball with these stick guys. You control each character with WASD and the arrow keys. I found myself getting really into this game. I wanted to win, I was losing, and I couldn't help but feeling that I wanted to play again and again and again, get better and win. This is one of these simple games that are just fun, and it really felt like when I was losing, it was my fault, not the game's fault. And I think that's always a good sign, and it really makes you just want to come back for more. I think my only criticism with this game was that about 90% of all the shots, the ball just bounced back in my own court. A few rounds, the AI just ended up playing against itself for an entire round until it eventually lost against itself. Apart from that, the game is awesome. This is definitely one of my favorites. This is seriously cool, and I suggest you try it out. On 5th place, we've got Already Dead. You're a group of survivors and you press the number keys to switch between characters. You have a set of objectives that you're supposed to do, and you gotta fight your way through alien monsters to get to each destination. Personally, I was not a fan of this one. I found it to be a little frustrating to switch between characters. The controls were a little frustrating and I just ended up feeling lost. I think limiting the characters to maybe 2 or something would have made it feel a little easier. Also reducing the amount of aliens. I found that it just got overwhelming way too quickly, and maybe an easier tutorial level to start the game off with would have helped this a lot, because I felt that I was just thrown in and it was just way too difficult. Next, in 4th place, we've got Solo Band. You take the stage and your goal is to gain fame, and the way you do that is by killing monsters on stage. And when you gain more fame, you get more band members to join your group, which essentially is like a weapon upgrade. It gives you more firepower. The game was satisfying, and I could totally see this being like an infinite shooter. I think the only problem for me was that the upgrades came way too frequently, and that in itself is not a bad thing, but the problem was that the game paused and forced you to choose an upgrade, which in the end turned into a little bit of a frustrating experience because I felt like I was pausing the game way too frequently. I would probably say make the upgrades automatic. Don't force me to choose, and just add members to the band as I'm playing instead. I think that would keep the flow of the game. Otherwise, it's great. Taking home bronze as a number 3, we've got Soulscape. I didn't really understand this game, I'm gonna be honest. You zoom around with this little guy. I don't know. You can dash and you can shoot enemies. However, I had a hard time seeing the enemies because they're black dots. I would have probably made them a different color or given them eyes or something like that. When you kill one, you absorb a soul and your goal is to make your way through this maze. But I had a hard time navigating the maze and it was pretty difficult. The graphics are great. The controls are awesome. Everything feels really nice. I just think I didn't really understand what my goal was. That might have been my fault though, I'm not sure. It's a twin stick shooter, and if you like that kind of stuff, I do think you should try this game because it feels really nice. I just didn't get it. I'm too dumb. I'm sorry. Anyways, next we've got on a silver place, we've got Hadron. It's like physics and stuff. Here, I'm gonna give a solid 11 out of 10 for the graphics. It just looks so good. The pixel art with the retro look and the chromatic aberration. Mwah! You're basically a little thing and you have 3 quarks in you, and you use the quarks as ammunition. So you shoot them out from yourself, but the problem is if you run out of quarks, you can only survive for a short period of time, and if you take any damage, you die. So there's constantly this tug of war between being conservative with how much you're shooting, but also you gotta take out the enemies pretty quickly, otherwise you get overwhelmed. I definitely recommend you try it. It's super polished. It feels like a legitimate game. And before we go to number 1, I'm just gonna do an honorable mention, which was my favorite game of this jam. It's a game called Paul's Cube Roll. I really love puzzle games, and this one was quite unique because I've never really seen anything like this. So basically you roll around this 3-dimensional cube, and your goal is to touch these little yellow pads. There are these blocks placed out in the level, and anytime you touch one, you merge with that cube, and that becomes part of you. It's really important to merge properly with these cubes to sort of allow you to make your way through the level. The graphics are so beautiful. It just feels like a finished game already. This one definitely takes home the Ponty algorithm juice prize, okay? As a number 1, the gold medal, the winner is Team TGA. This is way above all the other games. I definitely think it deserved number 1. You're basically a team of 3, and your mission is to infiltrate a mansion and steal a briefcase. Each member of the team has special abilities which you need to use in your advantage in order to steal the briefcase. If you're a big fan of Hitman, then this game is definitely for you. We have to run around and restart the level several times, find little clues, and strategize a way for you to finally execute a plan and steal the briefcase. It plays well with the theme, definitely deserving of the first spot. So just my general thought around the game jam. I think the biggest problem for me with most of the games in this jam, including my own game, I just feel like it didn't really hit the stronger together. It was more like too weak alone. I don't know if that makes sense. It might sound like the same, but okay, hear me out. Most games required you to sort of unite or do something with another character, as in stronger together, in order to finish the level. But then that makes me feel like I'm not stronger together. It's necessary to be together. But one game that I really felt hit the spot on the stronger together was one of your games, Chickens Run. So it works like this. You're a group of chickens and you run around shooting these dinosaurs. And when you shoot dinosaurs, chicken eggs are dropped on the ground, and then you can pick them up to increase the amount of chickens you have. And as you increase in size, more chickens are shooting, making you stronger. And then if you take a lot of damage, obviously you can end up with just 1, 2, or 3 chickens. And you're definitely weaker, but it's not impossible, really reinforcing this stronger together. So for me, this was a clear winner on the theme. It's just one of those things that really remind me of old like tower defense games. Once you've been playing a level for a long time, you're just so powerful and you're just mashing down these huge hordes of enemies. It's just a satisfying experience. That was really nailed in this game. I really like this one. It was one of my favorites for sure. Some other games that were made by you guys were My Little Light. I'm not gonna criticize your games because I just, that it doesn't, no. So My Little Light, a little side scroller platformer. I love the art of this, super nice, like a Hollow Knight, kind of a dark theme, moody. I mean, you guys know how much I like Hollow Knight, unless it wasn't obvious. And then we've got from our very own Discord mod, M in Space, we've got Sharing Soul, the game where you have 2 bodies but only 1 soul, and you have to transfer this soul in between the 2 bodies to reach the end of the level. Speaking of Discord, if you haven't joined our Discord already, well, go join. It's really fun. We've also got Untitled Gerbil game where you have to collect these Gerbils, push a button, and reach the end. Hopefully I didn't miss your game. Okay, next. Mind Loop. Okay, now that I've been criticizing all these games, it's time for me to play my own game, and you can leave me comments saying how bad my game was. It's okay, I can take it. Bring it on. By the way, okay, I've also updated the game. I've also made it available in browser, which means that if you're on Mac or Linux, you can now play the game. Yay! And I also fixed some of the levels that were a little bit too difficult, like level 10. Oh. So if you got stuck there, it should be okay now. Like I mentioned, I did some tweaks to the game that's currently on itch, so it's a little easier, but I'll be playing the version that was uploaded to the game jam because it seems more fair. It's the more difficult version, so I'm going to show you what the intended solution for each level was. Hey guys, I'm just editing this video and I realized that this video is already too long. I'm just going to make a separate video playing through the whole game, and I'm going to unlist it, but there'll be a link in the description, so if you want to check out the solutions, the link will be there. Anyways, this was my first game jam. I had tons of fun. It was one of the best experiences ever. Definitely going to do it again. Before you go, don't forget about the Google algorithm juice. You know what to do. Hit like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.